And once again, there you are. Thank you for joining me today. I am the Prince of Positivity. Our lesson for today, let's talk about the king. Once upon a time, there was a kingdom, and the king there had only one leg and one eye, but he was very intelligent and very kind. Everyone in his kingdom lived a happy and healthy life because of their king. Now, one day the king was walking through the palace hallway and he saw portraits of his ancestors. He thought that one day his children will also walk that same hallway and remember all the ancestors through those portraits. But the king didn't really want to have his portrait painted, due to his physical disabilities. He wasn't sure how his painting would turn out. So, what he did was, he invited many famous painters from his kingdom and from other kingdoms to the court. And then he announced that he wanted a beautiful portrait made of himself so it could be placed in the palace. Any painter who could carry this out should come forward and would be rewarded based on how the painting turns out. Now, all of the painters, of course, started to think that, well, the king only has one leg and one eye. So, how can this picture be made beautiful? It's not possible. And if the picture doesn't turn out to look beautiful, then the king is going to be angry and he may punish them. They may get in, but not get out. So, one by one, they all started to make excuses and politely declined to make the portrait of the king. Suddenly, one painter raised his hand and said, "I will make a very beautiful portrait of you, sir, which you will surely like." Well, the king became happy hearing that, and the other painters got curious. The king gave him the permission, and the painter started to draw the portrait. He then filled the drawing with paint, and finally, after taking a long time, he announced that the portrait was ready. So one day, all of the courtiers and the other painters, of course, who were curious and nervous, thinking, how can the painter make the king's portrait beautiful while the king is physically disabled? Remember, he only has one eye and one leg. What if the king doesn't like the painting, and what if he gets angry? But when the painter presented the portrait, everyone in the court, including the king, was stunned. You know why? Well, the painter made the portrait in which the king was sitting on a horse, on the one leg side, holding his bow and aiming the arrow with his one eye closed. The king was very pleased to see that the painter made a beautiful portrait by cleverly hiding the king's disabilities, and the king gave him a great reward. So, what's our moral of the story? We should always think positive of others and do our best to ignore their deficiencies. We should learn to focus on the good things instead of trying to hide weaknesses. If we think and approach positively, even in a negative situation, then we will be able to solve our problems more efficiently. That's your witticism, and wisdom for today. As always, I am the Prince of Positivity, and for now, I'm out.